Hey kid, over here. Hey, I'm a drug dealer. Can't you tell from my fedora you want some drugs? Are you talking to me? Who else would I be talking to in this YouTube intro bit? I got some fine AAA straight from the source, you know what I mean, kid? I don't do drugs, I'm a gamer. Hey, it's called an analogy. I'm using drugs, you know? It's an analogy for gaming in the 21st century because, you know, games are like drugs, so you want them, you're just gonna take them because I gotta get this bit over with before I tank my YouTube watch time. Here you go, yum. Kind of strange we both sound the same, don't you think? COD Mobile. Oh god, this is embarrassing. Hold on, let me take this real quick. Dante Studios, you huck 'em, we shuck 'em. What's that? It's not COD Mobile. It just looks like a mobile game. Then what the hell is it called? Rock Slide? Oh, Shatterline? That's a stupid name. The name is a game Shatterline. No, I don't want Meatloaf. The latest in mediocre entries into the first-person shooter genre has just arrived. And don't take it from me. Take it from my best friend The Rock over here.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Thanks, Dwayne. The developers over here at Frag Lab just dropped this beautiful little dingleberry of an open beta silently over the week.
But Dante, it's an open beta, it's not a final version of the game, they're gonna fix it. You're not allowed to criticize and review the game.
Well, before I go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and destroy this argument by using
facts and logic.
Perfect. Yahoo people ask. If this was good enough to get me my marketing degree, it's good enough for this video. Essentially, a video game beta is a test version that is almost complete. So that means these developers are considering this game almost complete and have more than likely set a date for full release. That means that these developers aren't looking at changing core gameplay, systems, or game mechanics. In short, I don't care that it's in beta, and honestly, the developers should look at this the same way that they look at the Steam reviews. Mixed. Let's talk some lore. And no, this isn't a novel video. Because actually, Shatterline is lore rich. Don't believe me? How about now? It was important enough to literally spell out lore rich in the game's tags. Now you might be wondering, that's pretty strange for a first-person shooter to be heavily focused on lore, and I would totally agree. I'd describe Shatterline's story as the equivalent of the stuff you read off the back of cereal boxes, but that would be slightly insulting to Big Cereal. I'd say the story's more on par with those placemats servers give you at diners to eat off of. It's there, and you can't really ignore it, but you kinda wish you had forgotten them. But let's give you a quick TLDR. The story plays out like a teenage girl's zombie fanfic. There are 3 factions fighting each other: the Glassheads, who are people who have been infected, the Acolytes, who see the infection as the next step in human evolution, and the Normies, who just want to stop the infection. The story itself could have been worse, and cinematically it's pretty well done, but besides that, the story isn't really explained or worked at all. Like, where did the infection come from? Who is the leader? Why exactly are we fighting the last remaining humans? Who are we? These are just a few examples, and I'm alright not having a story and mindlessly playing a shooter. Look at Warzone. Look at Fortnite. They don't either have a story, or it's something so ridiculous it doesn't matter, like Naruto fighting Goku. Naruto slaps Goku easy. Have you ever wanted to play Overwatch and Warzone at the same time? Me neither. But now you can. The game focuses on an operator or hero style loadout where only one person can occupy a specific character at a time with unique abilities. So you can look forward to that Genji main that clearly can't play Genji running it down and inting your game. These heroes are definitely not as impactful in Shatterline compared, for example, in games like Overwatch or League of Legends. But it's definitely a step backwards in my opinion for an online shooter to limit players and their choices in a game that honestly shouldn't. Speaking about bothering with this game, the graphics are on par with COD Mobile. Now, having terrible graphics isn't necessarily a bad thing or the end of the game. A lot of games actually cut back on their graphics to optimize the game for performance, except this game is anything but that. I struggled to consistently maintain over 120 FPS online, and I was getting far less in their expedition game mode. Not even mentioning the constant freezing and bug splats I was getting. This game is clearly not optimized properly for PC, which is pretty interesting because the open beta is only for PC. In combination with that, everything I just mentioned, I have a spidey sense that Shatterline will go mobile on release, or even worse, pay to win. This personally calls into question how free-to-play this free-to-play game will actually be, and I don't think I'm willing to invest my time in a game where I don't think it's going to stay free-to-play. Shatterline consists of 3 game modes. You got your classic multiplayer with modes such as Team Deathmatch, Domination, and an objective-based game mode focused on pushing a cart. I wonder where they got that idea from. Whoever inspired these developers to implement an escort game mode in a first-person shooter didn't really understand why the game mode was so fun. Because that game mode has only one map, which I don't think it's an understatement if I were to say this, but it's borderline unplayable and was the only game mode I refused to play. I won the game and I'm still upset. The map's poor design in conjunction with the insane time to kill reminds me of playing hardcore MW2, except I gotta move a giant cart down an open alley. I wouldn't even be surprised if the US government implemented this game mode as a form of capital punishment. Before I can even talk about the other game modes, I gotta address the elephant in the room, which are the core combat mechanics, because this game strives to do a lot, but fails to execute on almost everything. A first-person shooter at its core to be successful needs to be good at shooting, and I just can't seem to find that anywhere in this multiplayer. Every gun shoots extremely quickly, and the recoil is nearly non-existent across all guns. What makes it interesting is the movement, such as running, jumping, or even sliding, doesn't seem to negatively impact your aim either. Honestly, I would say you're at a disadvantage, in my opinion, if you're not absolutely sprinting and sliding like an idiot. This necessarily isn't such a bad thing. Some people are into much less aim-intensive games, and it's alright to have an opinion. It's what makes us human. But what I am saying, though, is that when a shooter is so unimaginative and one-dimensional, it's bound to fail. Look at Hyperscape. I bet half of you boomers don't even know what I'm talking about right now. That game was far more polished and niche, but was in and out faster than my dad going to get milk. Not to mention how quick the time to kill is, only reinforcing that running and spraying mentality in general, and just lowering the skill ceiling of the game. And if you're someone who cares about competitive shooters, this probably is not your game. But to be fair, the movement in the game is pretty decent, and the running and gunning combat is honestly the only thing that kept me playing. But I don't know why you would play this game over something like Warzone or Apex. God, I wasn't going to include this part at first, but after going back and playing some more games, I had to. I am convinced, and I would be willing to bet, that every developer over at Frag Labs is deaf. They've never heard a sound in their life. Maybe a frag went off and they all lost their hearing because of it. The sound in this game is so utterly broken and bad. This isn't even like a kind of broken. It's like anything you do is as loud as Andre the Giant in the library. The footsteps are so incredibly loud and delayed, you can hardly make out the direction they are coming from, especially if you are the one running. I found myself sprinting circles thinking I was chasing an enemy, when in fact I was chasing my own ghost like this was timed in Mario Kart. But do not fear, for I have invented a way of fixing the sound in Shatterline permanently for one small fee of a subscribe. Step 1, grab your headphones. Step 2, remove your headphones. Step 3, just play the game. This isn't even a joke. I completely took off my headphones, stopped listening to the game, and I did better. It's kind of crazy.
Naturally have a negative personality!
I mentioned Shatterline has 3 game modes, and honestly, one of them isn't complete shite. Kinda. It really depends on when it works. You and 2 pals can queue up and play through a story-like adventure similar to Left 4 Dead, completing objectives and slowly upgrading your character along the way. What makes this really interesting is the upgrades are completely random. So more like Left 4 Dead meets Tower of Torghast in World of Warcraft. Every run is a little bit different. Maybe you'll get a cool new gun, or maybe you'll get a cool perk that heals you every time you kill an enemy. I found myself actually enjoying the low recoil and the fast-paced shooting gun way more in this game mode than the other ones. Unfortunately, The game mode right now is bugged about 2/3 of the time, and I've spent more time in queue actually playing it.
Is this shit bugged for you too?
It wouldn't shock me if the developers had spent the majority of their time planning this game mode, and the generic multiplayer was just some extra content, because it really does feel like this is Shatterline. Hey, to be fair, Fortnite wasn't a hit either when it originally released, and only got popular after they implemented Battle Royale mode. But to be fair, they did have working sound. Why am I telling you this? I care about you, the viewer, and I'm sick of gaming developers releasing games into beta, which A, never get fully released, and B, clearly aren't done and push out game patches or later patches fixing those bugs that we tell them about. I'm looking at you, Battlefield, and if I had to rate this steaming pile of half-baked cookies, I'd give it 4 Ds out of 10. Whoa, 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 stay right there. You've made it to the end of the video, and for that, I thank you. But more importantly, I just wanted to quickly go ahead and show off some of the changes I've made to the YouTube, and I would love your feedback on the logo and channel art. I have to travel a lot for work, so I'm only ever home every other weekend. But that being said, I'm extremely motivated, and I'm ready to issue the internet's largest challenge. Move over, Mr. Beast. You ain't got shit on what I'm about to say. I'm just kidding, Jimmy. Please don't send a hitman to kill me. My challenge goes as follows. 1. Post at least 1 video a week. Easy. And 2. For every subscriber my channel gains between now and September 26th, that will be 10 minutes of streaming I will have to do. So say I gain 100 subscribers. 100 times 10 divided by 60, that's roughly 16 hours straight of streaming. That means if my channel gains over 1,000 subscribers between now and September 26th, I will be attempting to beat the world's longest live stream while awake. So tell your friends, tell your mothers, grandpas, I don't know. Make an account for your dog, it's free. Comment down below any specific stuff you want to see on the stream, and don't forget to follow my Twitch down in the description, where all that action will be going down. Stay safe, stay educated.